So today we are talking about the Critical Drinker, who's a very well-known hater of the Star Wars sequels, and as you all know, when someone is unnecessarily mean to the sequels, we call them out for it and try to debunk their vague and unsupported arguments. Today the man in question is a man whom I don't particularly like. His videos are well made, it's not that, I just don't like most of the things he says in his videos. For example, his thoughts on the Gina Carano situation and all his hatred for Brie Larson, and a lot more. But that is not what we're here to talk about today. If you guys want me to make a separate video calling out the Critical Drinker for his toxic ways, just like I did with Geeks and Gamers, then let me know down below. But this is not that kind of video. This is Rise of the Sequels, which means I'll be looking at this man's videos where he, in my opinion, wrongly criticizes the sequels. Now I feel like I have to say this every single one of my videos because people just don't seem to get it, but it's completely okay to dislike the sequels and critique them online. I'm not neglecting this man's rights to express himself, however I am using my own rights to counter his arguments that I feel don't hold true to the Star Wars sequels. At the end of the day, these are simply my opinions, and I make these videos defending the sequels because people still unnecessarily bash on them, the people who made them and the people who like them, instead of just moving on with their lives. I make these videos to show people that there are always multiple sides of an argument, and that if you enjoy something, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of it, because you can always find things to enjoy about something as long as you're willing to look for them. As always, feel free to discuss with me down below if you think I'm wrong. This is film after all, and many things in film are subjective, so naturally we're going to disagree. But also please don't send any hate towards the Critical Drinker. My own problems with him as a person are irrelevant to this particular video, and I understand that many people find his videos very entertaining and funny. I mean, we're not big enough to cause any actual damage to him anyways, but that doesn't matter. If you go over and send ruthless hate to him or his viewers, then you're no worse than the people we call out. Let's try to remain on the right side, okay? This also goes to the people who don't agree with me. Don't be hateful or aggressive towards anyone down in the comments. You can attack me personally, I don't mind. Call me whatever the fuck you want, just leave each other alone, okay? I accept the consequences of making a video like this, and I'm ready for it. Anyways, let's just get into the video. So today we'll be focusing on this video called The Critical Drinker Fixes Rey. And I can definitely see how if you don't like the sequels, or even if you think the character of Rey could have been improved upon, then this video is probably very entertaining for you. I'm not trying to discredit him as a content creator because he is talented at making videos, and I do acknowledge that his video is likely over-exaggerated for the purpose of entertainment. Me calling out his arguments is mostly just for fun, but I still think it needs to be done because he is hating on the sequels with invalid arguments, which does help fuel the conflict within the fandom. Listen, it's a very interesting concept for a video series. I just feel he didn't execute it very well in terms of movie criticism for Rey. Now, I don't want to act like Rey is a perfect character because she's not. There definitely could be some areas where her writing could have been a bit better, but she definitely does not need fixing in my opinion, which is a word that implies that she's broken as a character. I can think of many other Star Wars characters that would fit this video idea better, like Rose Tico or Count Dooku. Both characters severely lack purpose and development in their movies in my opinion, and I think this type of video for them would be very interesting to watch. Also, in this video I'll only be talking about his arguments regarding Rey's character and not the points he makes regarding the sequel movies specifically, because otherwise this video would be way too fucking long. And to be honest, a lot of the points he makes about the plot holes are valid, but they're also just nitpicks and don't really matter since this is Star Wars and all the movies can be picked apart logically if you really try. But yes, things like the Falcon can just be walked onto and used by Rey and Finn is a valid plot convenience, but again, it doesn't matter. So yes, we'll only be discussing the parts of this video that are relevant to Rey. Let's get into it.
Naughty Daddy!
So he starts off this video by calling Rey
the most broken of broken characters in cinema history,
which is just an overall great way to start a video if you don't want to sound biased at all. Thing is, we know and he knows that this is just not true, and even the fact that he later says he likes at least some parts of Rey mean that she's not the most broken of broken characters in cinema history. There are some truly bad characters out there. Now I know this is an exaggeration and that's fine I guess, but just don't expect anyone to take you seriously as a film reviewer after saying something like that. But alright, before he gets into fixing Rey, he'll explain the problems with her character first, and basically he has this long segment where he explains Rey's character in an abbreviated version for his own mental health. But for some reason his summary is only for The Force Awakens.
Then she leaves to teach Luke Skywalker how to do better, and the movie ends.
I'll take it from here, Drinker. Fuck off, film.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, assessing Rey's character is
Apparently, Rey's character just ends after the first movie in a trilogy, and in any case, if you only look at the first movie, then yeah, of course her character will seem unfinished and underdeveloped. This just screams of an agenda towards Rey. He doesn't even summarize 2/3 of Rey's story. And then he moves on to why she sucks. How are we supposed to take him seriously as a film reviewer when he can't even try to look past his own bias and see things from a critical standpoint? Because if this video was just about The Force Awakens, then yeah, sure, the summary would work. But for the entire criticism part, he's talking about Rey from all 3 movies. So it just feels weird, like he's not even giving her a chance. However, for the most part, the summary is fine. There are just a couple moments where he couldn't help himself from falsely joking about the movie, like saying that Rey beat up Finn as well, which just isn't true. But yeah, this part is fine.
Maz tells Rey that she's wasting her time waiting for her parents and that her future lies elsewhere, and Rey just automatically believes her. Like, how the hell do you know, you fucking dried up Satsuma?
Rey doesn't just automatically believe what Maz is saying. It's something she's known the answer to for a long time but just hasn't admitted to herself, because that answer is way too hard for her to accept. That's the whole point of Rey's character, and we'll get to that later. But yeah, the whole point is that she always seeks validation from others and needs someone to give her life meaning for her. That's why she constantly runs away from this same answer. And the reason Maz knows about Rey's situation is because Han told her. And she then tells Rey that they're not coming back because she understands people and knows that Rey needs to move on in order to find herself and move on.
And how does Rey not have any actual memories of her parents anyway? I mean, she looks to be about 8 or 9 years old in this flashback, so it's not like she was a little baby that doesn't understand what was happening. Wouldn't she remember who they are, what they look like, and the circumstances behind their departure?
Canonically, Rey was 5 when they left. So everything you just said has no meaning whatsoever. When you're 5, the main things you remember are moments that cause significant emotions. In Rey's case, that being her parents just randomly abandoning her. She wouldn't understand the situation at all. None of us would. I was a complete utter dumbass when I was 5. So please, you're just plain wrong. Then he mentions the 4 elements of character, which are motivation, adversity, strengths, and weaknesses. Now I don't know where he got this information from, but yeah, it's definitely a way to analyze a character. Not nearly the only or best way, but a decent way to do it. However, he says that Rey severely lacks 2 of these elements, weaknesses and adversity, and goes on to list examples of things that Rey can just magically do because of plot, and not because of her background or the situation. Now, there are a lot of things to pick apart out of these examples, and I'll talk about a few of them just to give you an idea.
Easily defeating 2 larger and stronger opponents in hand-to-hand combat.
This isn't just something that she can do because of plot armor. It's one of her first scenes where the movie is showing us what her strengths are. We are seeing with our own eyes that her life as an orphan scavenger has made her tough and sturdy, and that she knows how to fight. How is that plot armor? This is establishing what she can and cannot do. This is supposed to help from plot armor and plot convenience. Listen, most characters in fiction do things that seem unrealistic in our world, and that's why it's fucking fiction. You can't say it's plot armor when it's literally the introduction of a character because you don't even know the character yet. And listen, why is it so hard to understand that she beats them? She has a metal staff, she's probably done this many times before and probably lost a lot in the beginning. And also, it's way easier to fight someone who's trying to restrain you than someone who's actually trying to kill you. Please just watch the movie.
Operating a blaster at expert marksman level on her first attempt.
I'm not trying to nitpick here, but technically her second attempt. And not really expert marksman level either.
Resisting force mind control despite having no previous training.
Force mind tricks are known to work best against weak-minded people, and given that Rey is not weak-minded, she has a strong connection to the Force, and Kylo is not a fully trained Dark Force user. It's not unprecedented that she resisted. She didn't even resist it right away. Kylo got through to her in the beginning, but then she started picking up on it. Come on, man, it's not fucking rocket science.
Defeating a master swordsman in lightsaber combat despite never using a lightsaber before.
Listen, just watch my video on this fight where I explain how this fight makes complete sense. And that so many of the arguments against it just do not hold up.
Defeating Luke Skywalker with his own lightsaber after training herself.
Just watch the fight. He beats her comfortably, and he only loses when she pulls out a lightsaber against his metal pole thingy. I swear, man, some people just don't pay attention to movies.
Being kind, generous, and altruistic despite living an extremely harsh life.
Listen, yes, some people turn out greedy and combative due to harsh life. A lot of people also turn out to be kind and generous because they know what it feels like to struggle. She still has issues trusting in the beginning, and she only truly realizes that anyone cares about her when Finn comes to save her on Starkiller Base. She's untrusting, yes, but her kindness is not unwarranted. So yeah, he only gives a couple valid points in this long ass list, like the force healing and the hyperdrive maintenance during lightspeed, cause yeah, she probably has no experience with lightspeed whatsoever. But even then, these are small things, and if we're being this particular about our nitpicks for Rey, then let's do it for all of Star Wars, and then we can see how much it all fucking falls apart. Let's look at Luke Skywalker briefly. I think it's safe to agree that at the beginning of both Luke and Rey's journeys, when we are first introduced to them, Rey easily has more fighting skill and physical prowess than Luke does. Luke is just a simple farmer who does fly as well, occasionally, but he has a comfortable existence on his aunt and uncle's farm, and yet Luke is also able to do many things that on first glance he shouldn't be able to do so masterfully in A New Hope. Like, I don't know, blow up the whole fucking Death Star using the Force. Which again is okay, it's Star Wars, but please be fair when using these criticisms. Since the age of 5, Rey has spent her whole life fighting for survival. It's thus natural that she'd have many skills that develop because of that. Background-wise, Rey is much more capable than Luke when their stories start. This isn't a dig at Luke, don't get me wrong, but I'm just using the same logic against Critical Drinker's arguments as he does. The problem I have with this list here is that if he can get this many things wrong about the movie, then how credible can he really be? Why should we believe that Rey is a broken character when he doesn't even understand the character to begin with? I'm probably analyzing this video way too deeply, since it's probably just for entertainment, but I just can't help myself. It's not very thought out.
The point is, they usually have something about them that's holding them back in some way, a flaw that they have to overcome through struggle, personal growth, and development. But Rey doesn't have any flaws, so there's nothing to develop.
Rey does have flaws though. Of course, there are her smaller flaws like impulsiveness and naivety, just like Luke from A New Hope actually. But her big underlying flaw throughout the whole trilogy is her complete dependence on others to give her self-worth. Throughout the trilogy, she desperately jumps from her parents to Han, to Luke, to Kylo, trying to find someone to tell her who she is. This is why the Force vision leaves her feeling so empty inside. It showed her only herself, and that wasn't enough for her. That wasn't the answer she wanted, but it was the answer she needed. In the end, her choosing the name Skywalker and choosing her own path is her overcoming her inner struggle and finding peace with who she is. The next element she lacks is apparently adversity, and he says that nothing is ever allowed to challenge Rey.
Every character she fights, she defeats.
Again, just not true. She loses battles to Luke and Kylo, and saying she gets little to no help from others is also bullshit. Just look at the situations with Snoke and Palpatine. She even spends half of The Last Jedi getting help and training from Luke. Listen, yes, I get it. Rey overcomes some pretty impossible situations, but don't act like this isn't normal for Star Wars characters. If you're gonna fix Rey for this, then fix all Star Wars characters. If Rey had done what Luke did and destroyed the Death Star, then you would be saying that she's a Mary Sue, while not saying the same thing for Luke. I don't believe either of them are Mary Sues, but I'm just pointing out the inconsistencies in his arguments. Then he indirectly blames feminism.
Now, I could speculate more about the creative reasons behind this, but I think we all know why she was made this way.
Good one, Drinker.
But what about motivation? What does Rey really want from her life? What's her goal? Well, I guess her general motivation is to be reunited with her parents. She's been hanging around Jakku for at least a decade waiting for them.
What the fuck? That's not her character motivation throughout the trilogy. That's only her initial motivation before the story even starts. He spends a good portion of time talking about how she's not actively pursuing her goal, which makes her a bad character, even though this is not the character's true goal. This is not a home away home story structure like the Lord of the Rings where they're fighting to save the Shire. No, she quickly realizes that she won't find the answers she's searching for on Jakku, and so she lets herself be pulled away from it. Her actual motivation throughout the trilogy is finding her place in the galaxy, and her character arc is about learning to choose this path for herself and not rely on someone else. Luke's motivation is literally finding his place within the universe too, being important. And then later, of course, he wants to save his father just like how Rey wants to save Ben, a boy who resembles herself in so many ways. Listen, a character in fiction does not need to have some worldly physical motivation like becoming Hokage or the Pirate King. No, a character can simply want to find out who they are. That's a very realistic motivation that a lot of us can relate to. This argument is just really confusing.
Now, much as I hate TLJ, at least the first two films delivered a consistent message that it doesn't matter where you come from, what matters is who you choose to be. Then Rise of Skywalker shat the bed and decided that lineage was important after all.
I have said many times before that I do not like how Rey became a Palpatine. I loved how the Force grew strong in just some random girl. However, the whole plotline with the Palpatine lineage still follows the theme of following your own path. That's what she does. Yes, you're correct that the two writers have conflicting ideas about what this trilogy ought to be, but the example you used just did not work out within the context of what you were saying. But yes, I do agree with the point that it would have been better for the story if Rey was still a nobody. He also takes issue with the Rey Skywalker line, which I get it. It can sound kinda cheesy on the surface, but let's go back to what you said her main motivation was. And that is finding her family. Even this motivation is resolved through this line. She may not have found her mother and father, and she may reject her Palpatine lineage, but she still found her family in the Skywalkers. In the end, Rey decided to choose her own family rather than live in line with her family by blood. So I think this moment really works in that sense. But anyways, that was everything that's wrong with Rey. Now he gets into how he wants to fix Rey. And to be honest, the character that he's describing really doesn't sound too bad. In his version of Rey, she'd start off as a more greedy and unpredictable person due to her background, but still has the physical capabilities that come from this lifestyle. She actively wants to go search for her parents, and she kinda uses Finn and Poe for personal benefit. She eventually learns to trust others and actually begins to care for them, and I know I'm just summarizing this shortly, but he uses a lot more details. It's pretty interesting to listen to, but naturally his explanation here isn't perfect. For example, he keeps the parts where Rey resists the mind control, beats up the bandits, and knows how ships work, which I'm a fan of, I dig that, but I didn't think he was since he used it as a negative earlier. And also this part right here.
He's still a formidable enemy that hasn't really been defeated, and only got bested in this case because he tried to turn Rey to the dark side.
Isn't that exactly what happened in the movie? But yes, despite the problems that his version may have, I still think he did a good job with this new rendition of Rey. And that's the thing. Like I said before, Rey is not a perfect character, and although she has a lot of good things going for her, she still had the potential to be an even better character than what she was. The problem here is that many of the things he said before about Rey being a horrible character has barely any backbone to stand on at all. If the first half of this video had just been him fairly critiquing Rey's character and places where she could be improved instead of shitting on her with biased and invalid statements, then this video would actually be pretty good. Because the character he describes in the second half would honestly be pretty cool. And with the right execution, she'd be a great character, but that doesn't mean Rey's not already a good character. And all the reasons you showed earlier for her not being a good character don't hold up at all. But again, this video only covers The Force Awakens. In this whole video, he talks about how bad Rey is in this whole trilogy, then only fixes her in The Force Awakens. And it just doesn't hold up. So many of the arguments he uses are either just wrong or things that can be said about most characters in Star Wars, but he makes it out to be just the problem with Rey. Naturally, he says some things that are true, because again, Rey is not perfect, but the sheer bias he holds towards Rey is so fucking apparent, and it completely clouds his judgment as a movie reviewer. This video is less about art and more about hating. It's a bit sad. But anyways, that's all we have for today. Again, no hard feelings against the critical drinker. He has the right to make this video just like I have the right to make my video. If you think I'm right or wrong, then tell me down in the comments. And also let me know if you want to see that follow-up video on the critical drinker where I discuss some of the more concerning aspects of his videos. I'm already planning on making it, but I'd like to hear your opinions on it. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, but other than that, have a great day, stay safe, and peace out.